Hey y'all, welcome. Thanks for being here. In this video, I'd like to discuss a bit about the TV talk show host, former news anchor, and journalist. Perhaps she still does a bit of journalism. Tamron Hall, right? Tamron Hall was married secretly back in 2019 to her current husband. They also were pregnant at that same time that year. And well, I'm not saying that they were pregnant at the time of the marriage. I'm not 100% sure when she conceived. I know she was about 32 weeks when she actually announced to the world publicly that they were expecting. Okay. And her son, now 3 or 4 years old, has an interesting name to me. His name is Moses. And I'd like to get a little bit into talking about his name, all right, in this video. Let's talk first about some pros when it comes to Tamron Hall and her new boo. Well, not new, but they've been together a couple of years. So some advantages of this relationship, is that these two are somewhat in the same peer group or generation. Let's say she is now 52 and he is just only a few years older than her. All right, close to 54 or 55. And they're both in entertainment, they're both in media. He has deep history in music. He's a music executive. He has won awards. She's won Emmys and awards, had other uh, celebratory accolades that they both achieved. Her husband, all right, Stephen Greener, he has been linked to artists such as Fantasia Barrino, the late Bernie Mac, TV shows such as The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He was associate producer on the movie Above the Rim, that very popular movie back in the day. These two are both university graduates. Their salary, or let's say net worth, ranges about the same. He is purported to be in the range of 1.5 million, whereas she is around 2 million. Okay, and Moses, their son, is both their first child. Isn't that interesting? They have both been in uh, entertainment, the media for decades. Like that has been their lifelong careers. What you may not know is that her husband is actually of the Irish American ethnicity. Tamron is African American or Afro American by ethnicity and heritage. Her family's spiritual background is Christianity, whereas her husband's spiritual background is Judaism. This could be considered a disadvantage for this couple. Some may see it as an advantage, but statistically speaking, it could eventually become a challenge if it has not proven to be to date or yet, okay? Because it's just by our nature that sometimes it can be conflicting when you are not just in a relationship, which has its own natural challenges, whether family, romantic, social friendships, work relationships, neighbors, whatever the case, there can be conflict and challenges that arise if not handled appropriately. So that's their spiritual heritage. Racially, well, what we would consider race outside of their ethnicity, Tamara is considered a black woman, whereas her husband would be seen as a Caucasian man. This can also pose a challenge in their marriage or within their connection, as with their differences in their spiritual beliefs. And when you're married, if you decide to have children, even if you're having children outside of marriage, children in a relationship can also bring or prove to be strenuous or bring or carry some weight in the marriage because you have to now focus on this new human being, this new little cute one who needs all of your attention most of the time. Okay, survive. She has to survive the little one, with love, with care, with comfort, with touch, with feeding and cleaning and changing and bonding. So, sometimes this can interfere with the connection you may have with your significant other or your spouse, all right, or partner. Some go through this period of life raising children gracefully, okay, and with the help of the Most High. Others find it extremely challenging, sometimes resulting in disillusion of marriage, broken relationships, shattered hopes and dreams, etc. When it comes to their spiritual beliefs, let's get back on there. You know, their son Moses was circumcised in a Jewish ceremony referred to as a bris, BRIS, where it was reported that Tamron Hall's parents were present and her mom almost passed out during that ceremony, I guess because of the process. But then afterwards, their son was christened in a Christian ceremony in a Baptist church that of her parents that her mother goes to or was affiliated with at the time of his birth. Okay, so it may appear that they have chosen to raise their son in both um, beliefs, okay, Judaism and Christianity. But what I find interesting is that Tamron Hall, when she was married, tried to conceive initially, had miscarriage, had a miscarriage or perhaps miscarriages. She had trouble conceiving and maintaining a pregnancy, and they had to go towards help, okay, in vitro treatments, and they proved to be very challenging and expensive for the couple as well. She wanted to give up at some points in that process, but through friends and support around her, she pushed through it, and they eventually had their son Moses. So this brings me to why I would want to talk about his name being Moses. You know, Moses received his name. Well, let me restate that. The prophet, okay, biblical persona character in the Bible, Moses, okay, a Judaism and a Christian patriarch, okay, who you can find in books such as the Bible and the Torah and other spiritual books. His name actually meant to be pulled out, okay, or to draw out of something, to pull out of something, like when you're drawing water out of a well. And Pharaoh's daughter gave him that name at the time that she was pulling the little baby Moses out of um, the river in a basket, which Moses' sister had left, for him to be discovered, which he was discovered by Pharaoh's daughter in the book of Exodus. Okay, so let's look at this. So the fact that they chose to name their son Moses, could this mean that, Tamron um, felt like her son being conceived and successfully, um, you know, carried to term full term and birth pulled Tamron or drew Tamron out of her seasons of infertility. It ended, okay, or snatched her out of wanting to conceive, wanting to create her own family, wanting to be a mother. But what Tamron actually stated as to why they named their son Moses was because Moses is the one prophet who is recognized by all seven world religions. And she felt like that was just the perfect fit for her son. Um, okay. So the fact that, she came out of, those decades of infertility, of trying to conceive, even with other men that she actually dated in her past. And they also, those times of trying to conceive failed. She finally was recognized um, as a mother and was able to see the sunshine at the end of that struggle. At this point, I wanted to move on to Tamron's new hairstyle. Tamron refers to her hairstyle as golden. She is in her fourth season of her talk show, and she considers it, the golden hour now, which I find ironic, being that her hair is actually platinum blonde. It's not golden, but she likes to refer to it as her new golden look or golden hairstyle. I mean, most of Tamron's life and career, she had jet black hair, and it's always been, of course, pretty short, pixie cut usually, but pretty black too, jet black, like black. All right. Some may consider it a natural black, you know, but I see it mostly mainly as jet black. But she went blonde. Tamron has been married for 3 to 4 years, and I mean, I see it as interesting that she is 52 years old, and near her 52nd birthday, she went blonde, had been married to a man of another race for a few years. And, her first 45 plus, 50 plus years of her life, she had basically one hair color up until recently. But you can go left or right or sway with that as you may. I consider myself a very curious person who becomes easily intrigued by nuances, changes, particularly changes that appear to be sudden and unusual. Some may say, hey, you know, she's entering a new decade of life. She wants something different, even though, she has been in the 50s for a couple of years now. But usually, at least personally, some of you may be able to relate. Women who I know who dye their hair either blonde or platinum or gold or honey blonde, whatever the color may be, of, let's say, um, an Afro descended or African descended race or ethnicity or lineage, usually color their hair that color at a certain age when their hair is starting to be progressively gray. Like it's becoming uncontrollably gray. Some embrace their, new look, their gray hair, their silver locks, their silver hair, strands of hair, and embrace it. Even me personally have family members who embrace it. It's beautiful. Some don't prefer it. They might dye their hair, like I said, these golden shades or honey blonde shades. And that's what I personally experience when I see that color pop up. It's usually covering something. It's not like something naturally they would have chosen in younger years before, um, excessive gray, or the gray became more pronounced. That's usually when it happens. But you can leave your comments below as regards to that as well. So there can be, a number of reasons, several reasons for the change, but we can only, presume here. Because I mean, Tamron hasn't necessarily come straight out or right up front and stated exactly the reason for the change, but she may soon since it's a new look for this season. I'm so happy that she's successful on her show. Both her and her husband are successful in their fields. Okay, she definitely is a brave woman, a brave person, from just evidence of what she's achieved. Okay, in her young life. Hey, she has Emmys. Okay, plural. This woman has done awesome things, and I'm sure she will continue to rise and do more, um, personally and professionally. Tamron did express experiencing, say that 3 times, a bit of anxiety when she was going to do the big move, change her hair from the color she had it for decades, how she knew herself, okay, her identity publicly and privately with her family, with her friends, into this whole new look, okay. But hey, she went through it. She pulled through it and came out to the other side looking cute, looking adorable. I like the new color. I like the new look. I think the change is hmm, not too dramatic. She still kept that pixie cut, the short look, but just a complete opposite in the hue. Let's just say. Tamara didn't state whether her husband shared his opinion on her new look or not, or family, but she definitely got support and huge applause from her audience on the opening shooting or day of her season 4 show. Tamron has stated in the past that she never suspected that she would have married someone of another race because she's always dated men of her own ethnicity, right? And complexion or of deep or high melanin. And her sister actually, who was no longer with us, she passed away due to domestic violence. I'm sure this came up to Tamron when she was approaching marriage or a serious or committed relationships, because she does talk about how deeply and seriously it has affected her, her nieces and nephews, and just her family in general, losing her sister and her loved one that way to domestic violence. This has not been Tamron's first interracial relationship, nor has it been her husband Steve's first connection, or interest in a woman of African or Afrocentric heritage. Tamron also stated that, hey, even if she never was able to conceive, she would have been happy continuing to love and care for, where she can, her nieces and nephews. Okay. And now she has a chance to um, give more love. Okay. Give more love to her own offspring, her beautiful baby boy. Send prayers up for Tamron that all goes well with her future, her family, her career, her health, all right, and that of her family as well. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned for more videos. Till the next one. Bye.